power of video editing, I now have a new shirt on and a fresh haircut and a cold. So video editing is magic. But we move on to the final portion of our show, and that is Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine. I saw the movie what's today? Wednesday? Today's Wednesday. I saw it Monday night with my friends and my girlfriend. And we all walk out of the theater. I guess I should start with us walking in the theater. We all walk in the theater, 10 of us, ready to see this movie. And we're all pretty excited. Me and my roommate have to take a piss, so we go take a piss. We meet everybody inside. We sit down. We get through the commercials. I sit down with my girlfriend. I hold her hand. Previews go through. Movie starts. And right away when the movie starts, they hit you with this joke. By the way, this is a spoiler review. I'm just going to, spoilers. So if you've not seen the movie yet, I'm going to spoil everything, starting right now. Got it? Got it. Spoilers ahead. Immediately, they throw up a joke in there about how if you think that this movie is going to be done without desecrating the memory of Logan, it won't. That was like almost line for line. Like Ryan Reynolds is like, so how are we going to do this thing without decimating or desecrating Logan's memory? It's simple. We won't. And it shows him, I shit you not, I kid you not, picking apart the body of Logan from when he died in Logan, Wolverine's metal bones, snapping them off his body and using them while dancing to Bye 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 to kill TVA members. That is how this movie opened, and that is the direction of which I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinion on it. As a spectacle, as a Marvel comedy, as a Deadpool movie, this is perfect. This works. If you are going to this thing looking for violence, comedy, a bunch of sex innuendos and sex references and sex jokes and blood and murder and Deadpool talking off and Wolverine and Deadpool butting heads and some fun multiverse cameos, you're going to love it. If you're going into this movie expecting the second Spider-Man No Way Home of emotional impact and of setting the Marvel Cinematic Universe up for its next thing, you're not going to love it. Now, there is some emotional bits in this movie, and they hit, especially with the direction they go in with Wolverine. And I'm going to talk about that because I'm actually a humongous fan of Wolverine in this movie. I think this was an incredible way to take the character. But I want to stick on Deadpool for a minute because they officially brought him into the MCU now. And this was the first MCU Deadpool movie, and that scared a lot of people. Because it could have been so easy to miss this. It could have been so easy for Disney and Marvel to screw this up, and they didn't. Not only was there a bunch of hilarious references to the rights between Disney, Marvel, and Fox, and all that stuff, literally right out at the beginning of the movie. Deadpool is obviously notorious for breaking the fourth wall. He breaks the fourth wall and literally goes like, yeah, you know, Disney and Fox had their little thing, and here we are. Not only are there more winks and nods to the audience from Deadpool himself, but Marvel and Disney kept what makes Deadpool work about Deadpool, and they didn't let it go. They kept the R rating. They kept the no filter, murk with the mouth, nothing is off limits personality or way that Ryan Reynolds portrays Deadpool. They kept that. They kept all the fourth wall breaking. They kept, and I would argue amplify that from the first two movies into this one. And it only benefits the movie because it shows that Marvel and Disney had balls, that they were willing to take a chance. I wouldn't even argue it's taking a chance. I guess it's taking a chance for the Disney brand, right, which is a more kid-friendly brand. But they're willing to give the audience what they want in a sense. And it ended up paying off. You get this comedy, buddy cop in a sense, with Wolverine, Deadpool, rated R violence train that was a spectacle. That's what this movie was. It was a spectacle. No, it's not good cinema. It's not like The Winter Soldier. It's not a compelling story. The story's very forgettable, but it's a spectacle. And it was something that they knew what they were aiming for. They weren't aiming for the next phase in the MCU and teasing the next big villain and progressing the plot. No, they were attempting to introduce Deadpool into the MCU and make this rated R comedy and reintroduce Wolverine and play off those two characters. They just needed a second base hit. And you know what? They got a third base hit. They did a great job. Some of the areas where we're gonna touch on, I want to talk about first what the movie did well. And first things first, we talked about how good Deadpool was. Now we got to talk about Wolverine. Yeah, they nailed it. They found a way, even with that joke at the beginning of the movie about we're going to desecrate Logan's memory, they found a way to not do that. And all they had to do was make their Logan in this movie from a universe where he is the worst Wolverine in the multiverse. He not only let his friends die, but he lost control. He went on a rampage and started killing innocent humans, and everyone lost their faith in the X-Men because of him. They took the Wolverine character of someone who's the X-Men and they flipped it on its head and gave this guy the arc of he's even more broken than Wolverine usually is. And it works. It works because A, you get around the how are we going to do this after Logan? This isn't the same character. This is a variant. A broken variant who is the polar opposite of that Logan. That Logan risked his life. That Logan was a hero. That Logan was the one who was the anchor for Deadpool's universe. But this one, this Logan, our one that we're following throughout this movie, is a shell of that guy. Doesn't even know who that guy is. And you give him this arc to where he can overcome that and be the Wolverine that we all know him to be. Now that's compelling stuff. And they hit it home with that. And while Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool is very jokey and fun and he's making all these jokes and he's dancing to bye, 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 Hugh Jackman as Wolverine can have these moments where he gets emotional. And even Deadpool does have some moments where he gets emotional, but it's always followed up with a joke. But Hugh Jackman, his character can be taken a little more seriously, and we can get those sentimental, emotional moments. And it works. It really works. Next, the plot of the movie, right? We got to discuss the movie and what I thought about the plots. So essentially the plot is Logan is dead. Deadpool's universe is dying. And the TVA, there's a corrupt mid-manager in charge who wants to get promoted and wants to just take apart. Deadpool's universe is ending in 1,000 years because their anchor point has died. So that guy's like, nope, I just want to kill it now. Deadpool, you can either help me or just cease to exist. So Deadpool's like, okay, well, if I just need another Wolverine to replace on my Earth, I'll go get one. So we get a montage of him jumping through universes, jumping through the multiverse. Whole bunch of hilarious cameos here, including Henry Cavill as the Cavalrine. They made a Superman reference. We'll treat you better than those guys down the street. Hilarious. They did the Red Hulk, the costume reference to when Wolverine fought Hulk. We got comic accurate, me-sized Wolverine, 5'3" little guy with a bunch of hair on him. That made me get up and cheer. I should have been cast. We got that. And then finally we get to a bar where Wolverine is drinking a beer. Now, I want to say this. The scene that we got in this movie, with Wolverine, the worst Wolverine, right, at the bar, looked just like the Insomniac Games Wolverine trailer. I put that together and I thought, I'm like, oh my God, like this looks like the trailer we got for Insomniac. I don't know if those were inspired by one another. Obviously, they're separate multiverses, they're separate universes and stuff, clearly. But I was like, holy cow, I wonder if that is Insomniac's game universe, and that was like a reference to it. Maybe that's what the game's about. Probably not. Most definitely not. But it's cool to think about that. Cool to think about if that's the game version we're gonna get. And by the way, after this movie, I am so hyped for the Wolverine game. It is not even funny. I can't wait to play that thing. That's going to be incredible. I think that's coming out 2026 or 2027. We don't know yet. I'm still waiting on DLC, but I'm getting way off track. Back to the movie. Yeah, so he's in the bar, obviously, and him and Deadpool get in this little scuffle. Deadpool knocks him out, or doesn't knock him out, but Wolverine drinks a bunch of alcohol, passes out. Deadpool grabs him, throws him back to the TVA, says, I got a Wolverine. We could save my world. Mr. Mean Manager guy is like, no, this is the worst Wolverine ever. I'm going to destroy your world. And then sends them both to a place in between realities nowhere called the Void. And this is basically where the rest of our movie takes place until the final third act, to where in the Void, Deadpool and Wolverine are trying to find their way out, and they run into none other than Chris Evans, but he is not playing Captain America. He is playing Johnny Storm, the Human Torch from the Fantastic Four movies back when I was like 5. And he says the classic line of flame on and everything. We get that cameo in there. They get captured by a bunch of villains, including Pyro. Deadpool and Wolverine have this amazing fight. They get captured. They get transported to a lair, which, funny enough, is like a giant Ant-Man variant. He must have died, and they use his like hands as a door, and they open up his hands, and they come in, and we meet our villain of the daughter of Charles Xavier, which is Cassandra something. I'm blanking, and I can't think of her name, but that's who the villain is. It's her, Cassandra, evil Cassandra, bald lady, and she is the villain of the movie because that is why. She is the villain because she's evil. That's where we get into a little bit of the holes in the movie here, where there's not really a clear motivation for why these people are doing bad things. Like, one guy wants to wipe out a whole universe because it's going to die in 1,000 years, but he wants to be bigger up in the TVA, so he's like, just end the universe because that'll get me promoted. And then Cassandra's evil because she's evil. We don't get an explanation as to why she's evil, but nonetheless, she's there and she's evil. Deadpool starts murking off to her, saying all this stuff that Chris Evans, Johnny Storm said. So she, with her powers of her mind, rips his skin off. He dies, bunch of bones and blood. Deadpool gets him killed, and for the rest of the movie, there's this running joke about how like Wolverine's like, "You got him killed, bub," and Deadpool's like, "No, I didn't. He said all this bad stuff, whatever." Funny little gag throughout the rest of the movie. But from here, there's a little fight scene. We get a little sentimental moment where Cassandra sticks her fingers, like through the power of her mind, through Deadpool, and sees his insecurities and stuff. And we get like a sentimental moment of what Deadpool wants, which is to matter. He wants to mean something. His girlfriend wants him to mean something. And so that's like the theme of the whole movie. He tried out for the Avengers, didn't get the cut, right? All that stuff. So him and Wolverine escape, and they meet up with another cameo, but one that's just Ryan Reynolds wearing a wig, essentially, Nice Pool, and the dog, and their little dog pool. They call him Dog Pool. From there, right, after some banter with that, they end up going on a little road trip where we get another argument scene from Deadpool and Wolverine, because Wolverine is accompanying Deadpool along this journey because he believes that the TVA can fix everything and make him undo the mistakes he's done. Deadpool then says, if the TVA can fix your stuff, what are you going to do? And then Wolverine gets mad. He says, what do you mean if? They get into this giant blood-spewing violence fight, to which then they are kidnapped by none other than Elektra from the old Daredevil movie back in, I think it was 2003 when Ben Affleck played Daredevil? I don't even know. But we get the rest of our cameos of Elektra, Blade, the original Blade, and a few others in there. And then we get our whole cameo people getting ready for the final fight or not the final fight, sorry, but getting ready to take on Cassandra um, in a big battle. So that was cool. We get like all those cameos there. They take on Cassandra and her army just as they're about to, finish her off. Um, Wolverine stops them, says, "This isn't what Charles would have wanted. I'm not going to kill her." She says, "I owe you for saving my life." Pulls out like a Doctor Strange ring, opens it up, sends them back to their time. And then this is where we get into, or not their time, but their universe, right? Deadpool's universe. And then this is where we get into the final act where it gets weird. And if it feels weird in the way that I'm explaining this, is because this is literally how it goes in the movie. It is literally that quick, that rapid, zero like explanation for anything. They get sent back into their multiverse. She follows. The world's coming to an end because of like a time thing that got loose. She's like, "Oh, I want to do that. I want to take over and destroy all the universes now because I'm super evil." She calls a bunch of Deadpools in to fight our Deadpool and Wolverine. We get a cool moment here of Wolverine finally putting on the mask. Looks great. Love the costume, even in live action. And we get a scene of Deadpool and Wolverine fighting a bunch of Deadpools. Nice Deadpool dies in a hilarious scene played off as a gag, so that way our Deadpool could steal his guns and his dog. And then they go down to this machine that they have to stop. And through the power of love and friendship and Hugh Jackman's jacked body, they stop it. And that's it. And then Wolverine stays with Deadpool in his universe. And Deadpool makes a new friend. I wish that I could say like I'm missing some steps there, but that's, if you've seen the movie, that's literally how it goes. In short, in summary, that's literally as rapid pace as it goes. So you can tell that while it is a funny movie packed with cameos, packed with jokes, packed with references, packed with multiverse stuff, it is also a movie that lacks in plot. A lot of things happen very quickly and without a lot of explanation. You kind of just have to run with it and suspend disbelief. And a lot of things just happen because. Why are the Deadpools helping Cassandra? Because. Why does she have a Doctor Strange ring in her pocket? Because. Why are these people going to help Deadpool and Wolverine fight Cassandra to save Deadpool's universe? Because. How does this machine work like this in order to destroy the multiverse? Because. There's just a whole bunch of things that are the answer is because the plot demands it. And you kind of have to be okay with that because of the fact that the movie isn't aiming for a plot that is memorable or I'd argue even really cohesive. It's aiming for a movie that is going to be a spectacle in the form of comedy and in the form of payoff. And I don't mean payoff in terms of the plot. I mean payoff in terms of Hugh Jackman in the arc with this Wolverine, and payoff in placing Deadpool into Marvel's MCU. And it lands on those aspects. It doesn't necessarily land on the aspect of the plot, unfortunately. But it's not like it's a horrible plot to where it just doesn't work at all. It's just there's a lot of holes and a lot of things that go unexplained. But as you're watching the video, because you get kind of lost in the comedy, you can kind of let some of that stuff go, and you'll have a great time with it. That's the thing. If you're a movie critic, you're going to probably pick the plot apart a little bit. But if you're just a casual moviegoer, like most of us are, including myself, you're going to have a great time with it. I am not a movie critic, so I ended up having a great time with it. As long as I get what I expect going into it, which I did expect it to just be Deadpoolisms, jokes, multiverse references, and stuff like that, then I'm okay with it. As for my substance, that's what I'm relying on the future MCU to deliver me in, like Avengers Doomsday and stuff like that. Then I'm looking for my substance. But when I go to see a Deadpool movie, I'm not really looking for substance. I don't think really anyone goes into a Deadpool movie looking for substance. That's not what it is. It's like going to watch a rom-com and hoping that there's some real emotional, heartfelt like stakes. It's a rom-com. You know, how much substance can you get from that, right? That's not that type of movie. Same thing with Deadpool. Was it great? I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think they did a great job placing Deadpool in the MCU. I'm repeating myself with that now. And I can't stress this enough. I love the direction they went with Wolverine. I'm an even bigger Wolverine fan now. I'm going to go order a Wolverine workout hoodie and joggers now because of how big of a fan I am of the movie and what they did with it. I think that they really did do a great job with this movie and placing Deadpool in the MCU. With that, guys, thank you for watching the Shane Hoffman Show, episode 5. This is episode 5. Tomorrow is August 1st, so I will be watching and then eventually reviewing Batman Caped Crusader. SummerSlam is also this Saturday, so I'm going to have to review that. And we got a bunch more stuff coming up. Thank you guys for watching this episode, and I'll see you all in the next one.